I'm either going to scream profanity so you have to hang up, or I'm hanging up on you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
Saige, how was that? First of all, calm down.
Trying.
First of all, just chill out.
Okay, thank you. I tried to speed eat a little muffin before we got started, and it did not go well.
Just
Yeah.
like a little critter.
Yeah. Yeah, and now it's in all the wrong places.
It's the problem with a muffin is it's going to be there for 45 to 90 minutes.
The other problem with the muffin is when you give it to a moose.
Yeah. It's like giving a cookie to a mouse.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. I was at the coffee shop yesterday. New coffee shop. They have a back patio area that's huge,
Okay.
and they let Dagger walk around.
Okay.
And you know how he likes to be the mayor of places?
Loves to.
So he just walks around and checks in with everybody.
He knows every place in the local town that he is the mayor of, and when he
Yes.
walks by from outside on a walk, he's like, please, I need to go and greet my citizens.
Sorry, just they will be worried about me if I don't
Yeah.
check in. So I'm sitting with the mayor at the coffee place, and I'm getting some work done, and there's this really lovely woman who sits down,
Okay.
and we do a couple eye contacts,
Okay.
and we do some smilings,
All right.
you know, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, before I leave, maybe I'll go by, I'll say hello.
Okay.
And I go back to work, and as I'm thinking, maybe I'll go by and say hello.
Mhm.
She pulls out her phone
Okay.
and starts watching a video without headphones.
Oh, never.
Without headphones.
However, I just learned,
Psychopath behavior.
but I just learned something amazing.
What?
If I accidentally make eye contact with a man in a coffee shop, I'm
No.
just gonna pull out my phone
Oh,
and start
yes.
playing a video out loud.
Yes.
So no man will ever come and talk to me.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that's what she did.
No.
I think you guys probably made very pleasant eye contact. I know you not to be somebody who would bother a woman who doesn't seem
Right.
interested in talking to you. I know this, but I did just pick up a good tip.
But that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask
Uh-huh.
is because it wasn't like she turned her speaker all the way up or whatever.
Yeah.
She just had it. She had it at a volume where she could hear it.
And
But
you
it was,
could hear it.
I could also hear it because it was pretty quiet on that
Yeah.
back patio. I was going to ask if I overreacted by immediately going, nope, no way.
Oh, no. When somebody plays something out loud in a public space, I want to hit them.
I just think it's the worst thing.
I think it is genuinely one of the worst things.
So
I
people
think it is like genuinely, it tells me instantly so much about you things. It is one of those things where I'm like, you are the most inconsiderate motherfucker. And I just know this about you now.
Chafrika says maybe she forgot her
Then
headphones.
maybe she doesn't have to watch a video.
Yeah, exactly. Then maybe
Just
you
don't watch a video.
Maybe you read something on your phone.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Do
look at a website on your phone.
anything else.
Yeah, do anything.
You don't have to watch a video.
Everything
If you
has
came-
subtitles now for that specific reason.
Exactly. I do it all the time. I forget my headphones, and you know what I do? I turn on the captions and I mute my phone.
I couldn't believe it. People
Yeah.
get onto my elevator all the time on phone calls. On speaker on phone calls.
Not on speaker.
On speaker on phone calls. Just
Not
like,
on
yeah.
speaker.
No, I'm in the elevator. No, I might lose you. I'm getting into the elevator. No, here's what might happen is I might not be able to hear you anymore
No.
because we're in the elevator and I'm in the elevator now. So if you lose me, it's because I'm in, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
If I have to remain on a phone call when I get in an elevator, as I'm walking, I go, I'm getting in an elevator, hold on. And I will just sit there and I will make that person on the phone listen to me in silence.
Mhm.
Or I'll go, I've just got it. Just give me a second. And I will not.
I love when I'm walking towards an elevator when I'm on a phone call because it means I get to say, I'll call you back.
Yeah, sure.
I'll call you back or call me back in 10 minutes.
Infinite Corpse, I would agree. If she turns it all the way down and has to do the thing where she holds it up to her ear so no one else can hear it, I can deal with that.
No, of course.
If you really need to hear something, 100%. I think that's totally fine. The thing is, it's a quiet coffee shop. You're thinking about other people's experience.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified when I put my headphones in
That someone will be able to hear it anyway.
that the speakers will not have switched over to my headphones.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm terrified.
Same.
I'm terrified of being the person that listens to something for like 10 seconds before I realize it's coming from the laptop and not my headphones.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I'm the worst human being.
Is it coming from the?
Is
this music?
Is this music? Is it coming?
From
the green one or the black one? I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to know that I wasn't overreacting. Because you know how I am. I'm also the sort of person where like, I'll be interested in someone and that someone will do the tiniest little thing and I'll be like, oh, thank God I don't have to be interested in anyone anymore. I can sit alone in my apartment.
Yeah, see, I don't think you overreacted in an overstimulating social situation.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm incredibly autistic. So I don't think I am a good judge of that because what I said is it makes me violent.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm like the normal base to,
but
to
even
go off of.
even if the answer is somewhere in between,
sure,
it still feels like it's pretty.
Sure.
You know what? We'll ask Alex.
Yeah.
Did I overreact or was I right to immediately
You did
put
not.
that?
No, I would also not go talk to that person.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Alex.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
See, we've never once asked Alex how he's doing.
Never once.
When Alex comes in, we say, do not make eye contact with us.
Don't
Simply
talk to
set
them.
up the equipment.
Yeah.
The host
You there,
alone.
boy, set up the equipment.
Never say that to me
You
again.
boy. Yeah. Jay Shaw said I was checking out the grocery store last week and the cashier was having a personal phone call on speakerphone.
You can't do that.
You can't have it on speakerphone.
Actually, if it's the cashier, I'll allow it.
Here's the thing.
If it's the cashier, if it's somebody who is on the clock, I'll allow it. I
My
think
thing
that's
is just
dope.
take it off speaker. I'm
Yeah.
cool with you being on the phone.
Yeah.
I try to always remember that like I'm entering into a place of establishment of business and I do not align myself with the business or the customer. I align myself with the worker. We are fellow laborers and I'm like, get your phone call in. Absolutely, bestie. I got you. But again, noise is a big problem for me. So please do take it off speaker.
Yeah.
I want you to commit time fraud. I support your time fraud, but I don't want to hear your phone call.
I don't think there's any reason ever for anyone to be using speaker ever. Like,
No.
unless you are
alone
like if you're alone at
in
home.
your home.
Yeah, alone in your home
your car.
or alone in your car, that's it. If there's no other situation that I can think of
No.
where you would need speaker, where that becomes something that's required.
No. My mother is a speakerphone old lady now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about like, over 55, I guess, that starts really hitting with the speakerphone.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that generation specifically. But she, and I can always tell, I'll go, am I on speaker in a public place? And she'll go, yeah, I just needed to set the phone down for a second. I go, oh my God, am I on speaker in the grocery store? You take me off speaker. I'm going to hang up. And she's like, don't hang up. And I'm like, no, I'm either going to scream profanity so you have to hang up or I'm hanging up on you because I'm not going to be the one on speaker in the grocery store.
Well, and the worst thing is when the olds are using the speakerphone is they've lost certain frequencies of hearing and they don't understand that they can't actually hear the speakerphone.
Yes.
I used to think back in the day, you used to be able to blame it on the technology of the speakerphone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speakerphone on my mobile is not good, like blah, blah. No, it sounds good now.
Yeah.
That's your hearing.
Yeah.
My mother will put me on speaker while she's still watching television. And I'll be like, hey, I can't hear you. I'm hearing whatever rerun of NCIS is on right now. Whatever flavor of Law and Order you're watching right now.
Yeah. My mom would just call me. And
is that Emily Deschanel? Are you bonesing right now?
My mom would call me and set the phone down in the kitchen and just next to the speakerphone.
That's reverse ASMR.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the show. This is our show where we talk about, what really grinds our gears.
We air petty grievances.
Ooh, this is what grinds our gears, everyone.
Yeah.
But also, we're going to talk about some news. There is a wild scandal going on right now in games accessibility, and I got to tell you, it's a complicated one.
I stayed up so late reading about this.
Mhm.
I'm not excited to get into it. It's horrifying. And I'm so I need when you spend a lot of time alone with the story, you're like,
Yeah.
I need other people to discuss this with me.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
All the reviews are out. We're going to talk about a little Crash 5 news in that the news is that we didn't get Crash 5. And then
we're going to talk about that Sims competitor.
That's right.
We're going to talk about InZOI.
That's
which
right.
People have been playing. I can't wait. I'm going to download the character creator.
One of the 3 Sims competitors that Saige is watching with just the most rapt attention.
Absolutely.
And bated breath.
Yeah. So we're going to get into all of that.
But the first thing I want to talk about, Saige.
Oh?
You see that Sabrina Carpenter video?
Of course I did. Are you joking?
Oh my God. The Sabrina Carpenter video for Taste is so good.
Yeah, we don't usually talk about like music much here, but what we will talk about at any given occasion is Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Because Death Becomes Her is one of the great films of the gays.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because there's like a few fold here. One, Sabrina Carpenter has been accused of being the straightest woman of all time. But also the rest of the internet is doing the Taylor Swiftification of her. No, she's queer, right? She's got to be queer, right? She's probably queer,
she keeps
right?
saying things that maybe seem like maybe.
But it would. We have no information on Sabrina Carpenter's sexuality, and this music video has nothing to do with it because these are characters in a music video. So I want to be clear about that before we go into it.
But
real human people cannot queer bait. That's not a thing. That is a term that is designed and to describe characters.
Yeah. So this video is Sabrina Carpenter and Jenna Ortega in basically like fighting over somebody who is potentially, who knows who they're with at any given time. They go back and forth. But the deal is, it is done with so many references to so many good horror movies.
Yes.
The ones that I caught the most were Death Becomes Her.
Oh, I considered this whole video an homage to Death Becomes Her.
It's almost entirely Death Becomes Her, though there are some major, references to other horror stuff and other movie stuff.
I'd love to know also, as like a generational thing, how many of you have seen Death Becomes Her?
So this is another interesting thing that I want to get into. But taking a look at some of these references, Deadline put together a list of them. Obviously, they talk about Death Becomes Her. They show off some of the famous Death Becomes Her moments, like the impaling, the shotgun through the midsection.
So good. The like active like circular hole in the midsection from the shotgun is so specifically Death Becomes Her.
They show off some Ginger Snap stuff. They show off some Kill Bill stuff.
God, it's so good.
Obviously there's some Psycho in there. Addams Family Values.
Hell yeah, they did.
They are
that white outfit's so good.
They show off so much of this stuff, and it's so good. But something that was interesting, that I immediately said to you, was I went into the comments of the video on YouTube. Video came out 2 days ago. I went into the comments of the video on YouTube, and the youths don't know. And I love this.
Yeah.
The youths don't know about Death Becomes Her.
No.
So many of the comments were like, this is so cool. There should be a whole movie of this.
Yeah.
This is the horror comedy that we need.
I know. And I'm so excited for all of these people to get to watch Death Becomes Her for the first time.
Yes. I was like, oh, you have no idea. You're about to find a movie that is going to be a core memory identifying part of your personality.
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her was on all the time in my house. All the time.
So I had to be shown Death Becomes Her by an elder gay when I was like 18 or so. I had not seen it, and I was working in makeup at the time, and he looked at me like, oh, no one told you. Oh, sweetie. And we sat down and we watched Death Becomes Her. And I think I attribute a lot of who I am now to that movie.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty fundamental at the moment.
Somebody said that there was a stage play or something of Death Becomes Her near them. A couple of years ago, we had here in LA a drag performance of Death Becomes Her on stage, and it was like a bunch of the Drag Race performers were in it, and like it was very cool. It was like a great
stage. I'm surprised they haven't done it at the Rockwell.
I think it might have been at the Rockwell.
Because for those who are not
No,
familiar,
it wasn't at the Rockwell. It was at the Montalban.
There is a place called the Rockwell. It's a theater in Los Angeles, and they do a lot of movie adaptation, unlicensed plays. It's like a jukebox musical a lot of the time.
They call it the unauthorized musical parody.
Right. So they did like Edward Scissorhands for a long time. I saw that one too. I can't remember any of the others right now because the only one I saw was Edward Scissorhands, but they're great. And I would love a Death Becomes Her like that.
They did a Point Break.
Yeah.
I saw Point Break.
Yeah.
They do a lot of that stuff. And it was all wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
The Death Becomes Her one was amazing. And it was at the Montalban, which is like a much bigger theater because it was like a draw. It was cool.
Hell yeah.
But Death Becomes Her is so amazing. And I am so excited. I'm so excited to see, wait a minute, it's a Broadway show?
This was linked in the chat. Thank you very much to Yodel Rodel for that link. Death Becomes Her musical comedy revitalized. Broadway previews begin October 23rd.
Whoa.
I gotta go to New York.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool as hell.
A Broadway music. I'm not always into like, I am one of those people that laments the disappearance of the original Broadway musical because I just think like, I don't often like a licensed jukebox musical on Broadway.
Sure.
You know, to me, it's like, like I get it, but it's like, to me.
Okay.
I was interested in seeing Clue.
Mm-hmm.
We had previews of Clue here in LA.
We did.
Based on the movie.
Yeah.
And it was a musical. I didn't get to see it. I'm actually kind of happy because everybody who came out of it went, Death Becomes Her is one that I can absolutely get
100%,
behind.
100%. It was built for it.
Death Becomes Her, you put a musical number anywhere in Death Becomes Her and I'm fine with it.
Anyways, all this is to say the music video for Taste is fantastic. Sabrina Carpenter and Jenna Ortega kiss in it.
Whoa.
That was all over my feed. I don't know about you, but goodness.
There's
goodness gracious.
Sabrina Carpenter also did Chicken Shop Date this week.
Yes, she did.
And it was a good episode of Chicken Shop Date.
Yeah, it's because the album's out, baby.
Yeah. If you don't watch Chicken Shop Date, you absolutely should.
Okay, fantastic. Well, hey, while we're talking about like, I feel like this is within the genre of those movies. I'm just finding any reason because have you seen the Beetlejuice popcorn bucket yet, Anthony?
No, I have not.
Alex, can you show my screen?
We love to report on a popcorn bucket.
I know, we've really become people that report on popcorn buckets, but it's the handbook for the recently deceased. It's a popcorn box, Anthony.
Oh, I like that.
It's a popcorn box. It's so good. Dre, the goth of all of TikTok, posted video going and checking it out, and got one in person and made a really great video on it. So it's so cool. I haven't felt personally.
Does it open?
Yeah. It's like because here's the thing. When you go to the movie theater
so it's not
and you
tall.
get the popcorn.
It's not tall. It's you flatten
it's a box.
And you open it. Okay.
Because when you go to the movie theater and you get a popcorn bucket, personally, I'm somebody that's going to grab the box anyways. Who wants to eat out of the bucket? I'm getting a box. That's way easier. Everything spreads out better.
Yeah. A lot of these, and a lot of times at the movie theater, they will give you the collector's bucket and then your popcorn in a regular container.
Yeah.
They're like, do you want us to open the bucket? And you're like, no.
No, I want to keep this thing clean, most likely. But the cup as well is super cute. It's like the Beetlejuice suit with a shrunken head on it. I'm less excited about that. They're also showing that they have black and white striped popcorn buckets as like the standard bucket, and I don't believe it for a second. I feel like that's just marketing. I feel like there's no way they're actually doing it.
Oh, they might.
I don't know. We'll
they
see.
might. If Beetlejuice paid for the placement, they might.
Right, exactly. And then they have a special like green Fanta haunted apple icy that they're doing.
Okay.
So, not an ad for AMC, not paid. Is it worse or better than the Wolverine one though? Way better in my opinion.
The Wolverine one was interesting.
That one was not for me.
That was interesting.
That one was not for me. That one was not my thing. This one, totally my thing.
Hey, you know what doesn't seem to be anybody's thing, Saige?
What?
Concord.
Oh.
Concord is out.
Yeah.
Concord is out. And on day one, Concord had 697 concurrent players on Steam.
No, that's brutal.
Not even 1,000 people playing the $300 million game.
That's wild for a game as a service shooter.
Now, of course, the big push, because it's PlayStation, the big push is on PlayStation, and we don't have those numbers, but that's a small number of people.
Scoopy in the live studio audience did say, I'm enjoying Concord. We got one.
Are
you one out of the 600? Were you playing on Steam or were you playing on PlayStation?
Sweet Anita was streaming it. She was one of the paid streamers. She had like a Concord day. Mm-hmm. Sony didn't do like a big sponsored stream thing.
Yeah.
Like they probably should have. Mm-hmm. But Sweet Anita was streaming it and she had more people watching it than there were in game. She had something like 1,000 people watching her stream, and there were only 600 people in game.
Yeah.
At the time.
That's yikes.
That's rough.
Not looking good, Sony.
Not looking good. This was, obviously Concord was many, many years of development by Firewalk. Mm-hmm. Firewalk is a bunch of, ex-Bungie, ex-Activision. Mm-hmm. Just real, like, these are people who have done this before.
Yeah.
But the game just did not resonate with anyone.
Yeah.
Which was very, very, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people just keep pointing to that cinematic trailer, the one that we showed a few weeks back.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
People watch that trailer. I think the thing is they did a 5-minute cinematic trailer. They were taken out of the original Overwatch playbook. They did a 5-minute cinematic trailer and then revealed the game, and the game was a 5v5 shooter, and everybody was like, oh, I was way more interested in this before you told me it was a 5v5 shooter.
Damn. That's wild, though. To see that low of interest is so interesting. I am curious about the PlayStation numbers. They also note in here in this IGN article that over the weekend it dropped even more. Which typically, if they launch on a weekday, there's usually a boost in the first weekend when people actually get the chance to play it. And from that 600, it dropped down to about 400 concurrent all weekend.
Yeah. As of today, it had, or as of yesterday, I believe, it had 130 people playing.
That's really bad retention. And that does speak to the quality of the game beyond just the I'm not really interested in another 5v5 shooter because there's so many people that bought it and have it and are not continuing to play it already. To
let you know how few that, I mean, you all know how few people that is. There should be, listen, Deadlock was not even official. Mm-hmm. Nobody was supposed to even know about Deadlock, and it had 50,000 concurrents.
How many concurrent was it you said yesterday?
131.
That's less people than we have here on Twitch right now.
We're bigger than Concord, baby.
We're bigger than Sony's $1 billion live shooter.
Yeah. So to let you know how, we have more than that. When I've been playing like the old Castlevania games, and I'm like, I'm streaming Castlevania 3. There are more people playing Castlevania 3 or like Spider-Man for the Genesis when I play like one of those old games.
That's
wild.
Brutal.
Wild.
That's really brutal. It being $40 when a lot of other shooters are free to play is, I'm sure, a huge factor in that. But especially when you market it as a game as a service, which means there's going to be continued charges for it.
But here's the thing that I think is interesting about it is they have said that you will never have to pay for any seasons. Like they really, that's the thing that I think I respect about Concord out of all this stuff is they took the big swing of saying, we promise you that if you pay for this game up front, you are going to get all the content for this game.
Right.
Like they still have microtransactions for things like skins and stuff, but they were like, hey, once you pay, you're good.
Yeah.
We promise. And I think that's a huge thing to do in this market. And it did show me that they believed in the game. And it did show me that they cared about players a little more than they cared about monetization. But that might have actually turned around and bit them because people would have felt better about it if it was free to play.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I hear about it is that people just don't, one of the things about that 5-minute Overwatch initial trailer, number one, it was a million years ago and there weren't a lot of things like this out yet. That's one of the main things. But the second thing is, when you watch that Overwatch trailer, you immediately fell in love with at least one or two characters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you had like your person.
I was immediately like, let me get at that smart monkey.
Yeah, I don't remember any of these characters from when that came out, unfortunately.
There's a guy who looks like Michael Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy, but acts like Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the guy I remember.
Yeah.
It's a green Star-Lord.
And that's nobody's favorite.
I just think like it was a wild thing to take a swing at. I know every company thinks that they need their shooter, their service shooter.
Yeah.
And that's probably true. Like from a financial standpoint, I get it. They print money.
Yeah.
If you have one of the popular ones, they print money. The problem is if you don't have one of the popular ones, and a lot of companies are finding this out,
yeah,
you're sinking $200 million into something that just disappears.
I think that it is also that by the time a lot of these games were made, I don't know if that was true anymore, that like you need your live service shooter.
Yeah.
I feel like that might have been true 5 years ago, but I think by the time a lot of these were done, that's not true anymore.
I guess it's not a need as much as it is like a financial want. Like these companies know that if they can be a Fortnite, if they can be a Call of Duty, if they can be,
but 5 years ago,
even an
there was more
Overwatch
openings for them. You know, it was like if you made a live service shooter, people would play.
Dude, Overwatch still has 20K concurrent on Steam.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
Overwatch has 20K concurrent. This has 600 people.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Which, by the way, Deadlock is now not so secret.
Yeah.
People have been able to stream Deadlock.
Okay.
Have you watched any of it?
No.
It looks like a very well-made game that is not for me.
Okay. Yeah.
It's definitely like hero shooter plus MOBA in a way where I'm like, that's my brain. Don't do lanes, building,
fair,
zip line back, buy stuff, upgrade. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
But it looks great and the characters look amazing. That's one of the other things. Like you got to have these characters that make me want to play.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Like, you know how Fortnite created characters like Goku and Ryu.
Exactly.
Like when Fortnite made up Batman, I was like, dude, I got to play Fortnite.
Yeah. I can't believe that. Like I just feel so instantly connected to these characters like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. I can't believe that Nicki Minaj, like Fortnite just made up Nicki Minaj.
That's such a cool
and Call of Duty Warzone made up Nicki Minaj.
Right.
And I was like, I don't normally play Call of Duty, but since they created this Nicki Minaj character, I'm kind of into it. It's kind of, I mean, listen, it feels like they created their Nicki Minaj character because Fortnite created this character called Ariana Grande that was really popular. Yeah. And it felt like sort of they wanted to get into a similar thing, but not really. Yeah. I don't know.
Kind of wild.
Kind of wild.
Fortnite Gaga was the best. Very true. I feel like another type of game that every studio feels like they need their own of right now is a Sims.
Cozy simulation is something everybody's trying to get into, but you're right. Like specifically over the last couple of years, people have really been like, oh, we should do The Sims.
Well, there's been such a big gap between Sims 4 and Sims 5, and we have nothing tangible so far from EA about Sims 5 other than we're working on it, right? So I think a lot of studios saw it as an opening because it's been a long time since the Sims 4 release, and Sims players have really done everything they could do with that game, truly and honestly, and everything they couldn't do with that game as well.
Dude, the expansion packs for The Sims 4 now are like, you get a very specific like electric mixer from 1972 and a hat. There's like nothing left. Everything's already in there. Everything is already in there.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a loud noise for those wondering why I jumped. So one of the studios that has been trying to get in on the Sims kind of opening has been the studio doing InZOI. And now InZOI has been like teasers for years.
Yeah.
Right? And it was supposed to be the one that was a little more hyper realistic.
Yeah, I have to say out of like the 2 or 3 big ones like Paralives and like all these other ones, InZOI is the one that is the least interesting looking to me because of the realism they're going for.
So it's like on such a different side of it. Yeah, like I much prefer the look of Paralives as like a game to actually play, but I want InZOI so bad because I just want to play in the character creator and that's what most people want from it, right? This one you're making Zois That's what they're called.
Mhm.
You make your ZOI.
Okay. What does that stand for? Does it stand for something? All right.
They're ZOIs.
They're Zoys. They're Zoys.
Sims, ZOIs, you know?
You know those TikToks where they're walking around there going, we're Zoys. Of course we're going to zabadoo.
Exactly.
We're Zoys.
So with InZOI in particular, everybody's been really excited and they released an early access to the character studio. It's no longer up. I missed it. I'm devastated.
Ooh.
I didn't know. It doesn't even say anything on here about it being a limited time, so I didn't realize. But I just looked on the Steam store and it is not available. I looked on any of the like hyperlinks in these articles. Can't get to it.
Hey, everyone.
Want it so bad.
Hey, everyone. InZOI had 18,000 active players concurrent in the character creator. That's
Just
like
the character creator.
That's like 3,600 Concords.
Just in the character creator. Really wild. So this is from Crafton, which is the people behind PUBG.
Really?
Yeah.
No, dude, that explains the aesthetic of this game so
right?
much.
Yeah, it really does. It's developed in Unreal 5, and of course, it's supposed to be a competitor. I do feel like, though, again, this is another studio that maybe just finally read their first statistic about how people spend money and discovered that women, who are the, primary demographic and like target audience of simulation games, actually hold between 74 and 80% of buying power in all of America.
Yeah.
74 to 80% of purchases made in America are made by women.
If you get the girlies, you get the world.
It's just
you
weird.
Get if you get the girlies, you get the worldies, is what they say.
Look at this character.
You know when they say that?
Yeah. The girlies and the worldies.
That's what they say in
just
business
a girl
classes.
In the world.
Yeah.
If we can show my screen, look at this character creator. So this is what they were advertising, and people were like, no fucking way. Like, it looks weird and how realistic it is. It
looks
does
like
get to a point of uncanny when you get that realistic.
It looks like metahumans.
Yeah.
You know the Unreal metahumans that are made for like hyper realistic cinematics?
Yeah.
It looks like those. To the point where it's uncanny valley.
Absolutely.
And not just the characters, but when you see the characters walking around in environments in the InZOI previews, it's extremely it's like the dream of Second Life.
Yeah. So it really does give Second Life to me. And I think that is what gets me so excited about this, is because it does feel really Second Life-y.
Mm-hmm.
But since this is just the character creator, naturally people went in. A lot of people posted videos like trying to make themselves as accurately as possible. But also a lot of people started making celebrities and characters they love.
Okay, let's take a look.
So naturally, Taylor Swift.
That's a good Taylor Swift.
That's a pretty good Taylor Swift,
That's
right?
pretty good.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that's good.
That's Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
This is my Beyonce 2.0 specifically. And these are also designs that other people can download. This person just called this the Giga Chad.
The Giga Chad.
Connor RK900 from Detroit Become Human.
That's pretty on the point.
Ada Wong from Resident Evil 4.
That doesn't look like Ada. Oh!
Wario! Wow! There he is.
I didn't know that there was sex in this game.
Wario.
I didn't know that this was one of those pornography games.
I mean, the next one is Morticia.
That's good. That's
Very
a really good
specific rendition of Morticia. Really great.
The boy.
I got bored, so I tried to make Harry Potter.
Oh my God, they made Alex Teplitz.
No. I don't know why his hat is so big.
Who is that?
That's Walter White.
That's not
Clearly.
Walter White.
That's clearly Walter White.
No.
Just with a Pharrell Williams hat.
With a Pharrell Williams hat, and can I just say, the largest fake mustache.
Yeah.
Which Walter White didn't need because he had a real mustache.
Yeah, I'd say the face isn't bad.
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty accurate. It's a little small, but maybe that's just because the hat is so incredibly big.
Dude, it looks like if Oppenheimer was trying to be incognito.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
I don't know why that was like who came to mind.
Whoa,
Britney
that's
Spears.
a good Britney.
See, I didn't like this one.
I think that's a pretty good Britney.
Yeah, interesting. Those are celebrities that people have been making so far, but there's just been a ton of content of people like getting in. People have been posting like tips videos of how to make more realistic characters and like what you can do to work with the builder. But it does seem to be incredibly in-depth, and more than anything, it's real. Because all of these Sims games that got announced have been getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And I think a lot of studios underestimated what it takes to make a game like this.
Yeah.
So
the original Sims,
like they were never coming out.
Dude, the original Sims required Will Wright, one of the best to ever do it, and all of Maxis working secretly in a bunker for years.
Yeah.
And almost didn't happen. It was so hard to do.
Right. So I think that more than anything, I'm just like, oh shit, I think this game might come out. You know?
Do we have any screenshots or video clips of the actual world?
Well, the world is in the trailer, but it's not in game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I just want to show people what this looks like.
It looks a lot less realistic in the world shots.
I mean, I don't know.
God, that's
pretty
so cool.
Wow.
I want that so bad. I just mean when you see the characters in that, I actually like that they're not quite as. Look at this.
That's nuts,
isn't it? I want to play this game so bad,
dude. This is pretty good.
I want it so bad,
dude. The quick zoom out there is wild.
For me, it was like watching them. Like interact with the building.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, the decorating and building seems really fun.
Is this still now they're in a magical land?
No, that's Life by You.
Oh, that's Life by You.
Oh, that's why. Okay. I think it might have been doing a comparison there. I think it moved over. It might have been a compilation video.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I will say in InZOI in general, when they're interacting in the world, there is like a little less detail in the faces, which is nice.
Sure.
Because it would look really disturbing. Can you remove ladders from pools? I have to assume if I can make a hyper-realistic Wario, I can remove a ladder from a pool, right? Sure. I would think.
I would imagine so.
I would hope.
But can these hyper-realistic people get out of a pool without a ladder? I hope it's not that real.
You're right. You're right.
Where does the reality end?
Yeah. I'm like, this is InZOI in world here on my screen. Which, can't click into anything because this weird embedded video. But
yeah. I mean, that's so, and is that kind of like storefront that they showed?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all stuff that's like to purchase, or is some of that community creations? I'm so fascinated by this.
I'm not sure yet.
I'm so fascinated by this.
I am too. I mean, in The Sims, like, most items, like you have the base game of items that you just like save up in-game currency and buy.
Yeah.
I would assume there is that. I don't know for items because like Sims does not have an easy way to do custom items.
Yeah.
That's something that you would have to like add mods for.
Sure, but if they do a community store and take a little off the top, like Second Life used to, or still does.
Oh my God.
That would be amazing.
Amazing.
That would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that looks really cool. It does not look as, initial trailers for it had that PS3 Sophistifuture look to it.
Yeah, where it's like you tried to get too realistic and it shows all the ways that it isn't.
Yeah, it was just really shiny and bloom lighting and like hard corners and angles. But
I get you.
This looks like it's come a long way, actually.
It does. Let's get to one more game before we check in with our sponsor for today and talk about foods. And then we're going to end on the big scandal thing because it's going to take a while.
Scandal.
All right, let's talk about Star Wars Outlaws.
Okay, Star Wars Outlaws. The reviews are in and they're all over the place.
It's so interesting that people can't seem to make up their mind on if this is a good game or not.
They are all over the place. The review roundup was published this morning by VG247. They always do good roundups of everybody's reviews.
Yeah.
And really fascinating. I mean, it goes from like 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 from a lot of outlets down to like 2 out of 5 from Eurogamer.
Wow.
3 out of 5 from PC Magazine.
Games Radar and The Gamer both a 3.5 out of 5, which is still pretty low.
Yeah. IGN gives it a 7, which is what IGN gives whenever they don't want to talk about something.
Yeah, I guess there was no ad for that one.
They're just like, it's fine, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's a game.
All right. Yeah, it's a game rating.
Basically what people are saying is, if you're in the mood to like run around in an open world, playing as a Han Solo type character, doesn't push game development to new heights, but it does it solidly.
Okay.
This is a Ubisoft open world game
Mhm.
in Star Wars.
Which like does appeal to me in description.
Mhm.
I don't need it to be groundbreaking in that. Like I have my like, oh, this is my, I don't know. I feel like the Jedi series is like, oh, we're doing stuff with games for me for Star Wars.
Yes.
Whereas this, I'm like, I actually really do just want to run around in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
that isn't a downside for me, but I can see, especially when you're a video game reviewer, why from a technical perspective, that's not great.
Yeah, I do love the idea. One of the things that I do love about the Assassin's Creed series, and I think it's one of the reasons why it's still so popular. I'm not a fan of like Assassin's Creed gameplay. I get bored playing Assassin's Creed, but they do a lot with writing and world and story that can keep you interested. And obviously, I'm very interested in running around in Star Wars.
Of course, we're very interested in running around in Star Wars.
I'd love to run around in Star Wars.
People compared it to like a Red Dead Redemption, and I'm somebody who really does not like the like setting and story of Red Dead Redemption.
Can't do
It's
cowboys.
like very unappealing to me. I'm like, no, thank you. So I haven't played, but people loved it, and I think that some of the actual gameplay seemed really fun.
Yeah,
but I just really didn't like the setting.
Yeah, same.
So I'm very excited that people are comparing this to like a Red Dead Redemption, but Star Wars. I'm like, ooh, can I get what everyone loved about that game, but in a place I like? Now I know the Outlaws is still kind of like a little Western-y in theme, but that's very, very different than the way Red Dead Redemption is.
But that's because Star Wars is kind of Western-y in theme. Yeah. So I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy this one.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really do love is one of their options that they have in game that people are talking about. Amongst the various accessibility and visual options in Star Wars Outlaws, you have the ability to turn on what is called Explorer mode.
Ooh.
Explorer mode is basically a no yellow paint mode. No yellow paint, no subtle reminders that you're going the wrong way. No like, hey, look at this, it's climbable.
Ooh.
It assumes you have simply played a video game before.
Fun. And you just touch stuff and see what happens.
Yeah, it assumes that you can kind of look at the world and be like, hey, I can probably climb that.
Right.
That's probably where the game wants me to go. I love this.
I feel like once you've played for a while, like you've gotten into the game, just turning on explore mode and just being like, I want to see what I can climb and walk around and touch things.
Yeah, because you're right. Every game is a little different in that level of like what's climbable, what's openable. Right. But once you know what the rules are in that game, it's like, cool. I don't need you to like point me in that direction anymore.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. I'm also a person that like the type of games that are my favorite games are games that are hard to get around in.
Yeah.
So I don't mind.
I hate when it's hard to get around.
I love it. Like,
I have no sense of direction whatsoever. So I am somebody who keeps the like map marker on all the time. So this most of the time isn't going to be for me when I actually want to accomplish something in game.
Yeah.
I don't know where I've been. I'm the kind of person that if I'm walking in a mall and I enter into a store and I come back out of it, I don't know which direction I came from.
Sure. I could be parked anywhere.
Yeah, I need like landmarks to be like, that was the store behind me. Because I can't do it. So this is actually awful for somebody like me.
And then you add the layer of digital abstraction to it. So it's like, the place isn't even real.
No, absolutely not.
I think like, it depends. I mean, obviously so much of this depends on game design and level design. Yeah. Like a good game designer will be able to show you where to go without a map.
Yeah.
But sometimes in an open world, when there are 100 different things to do,
I've had a lot
that isn't the easiest thing to do.
In Star Wars games.
Oh, well, I got it. Okay. Fallen Order. They knew that the map was bad.
That was so bad.
The Fallen Order map, I
love that game, and that was so bad.
I love it so much. I was walking around in that game with the map up, and I was still like sometimes, why am I,
what the fuck? And it's so hard to interpret and understand because it's just shapes.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
I think the second one, they fixed a lot of that.
They did make it a lot better.
But woof.
So this isn't a super great like knock out of the park review roundup for Outlaws.
You know, I don't know that right now for Star Wars games, it needs to be, if that makes sense. I think what Star Wars needed was a solidly made game that wasn't made by EA to show that like a really good, technically competent, like solid gameplay game could come out in the Star Wars universe.
I am enjoying that in seeing in the reviews, it's not people being like, it's buggy or this doesn't happen the way I thought it would or something like that. It just seems like there was people weren't like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. It seems like a lot of the takeaway.
I think
of like nothing surprised them.
As much as I love the Star Wars games that have been coming out over the last 5-10 years, there is, look, we've talked about the development culture at EA, which is crunch, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry.
Yeah.
Bring on 80 different teams that weren't there at the start to help things at the end. And like, you do kind of wind up with some things that can be, a little buggy and a little rushed on the EA side.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Ubisoft doesn't do that either.
Yeah.
But when you have more than one developer and more than one publisher working on these games, to where it's like, we could have a Star Wars game every other year without it being rushed and without it having those technical issues.
Would be neat.
We simply distribute the effort amongst different licensors.
What? Crazy.
Rachel Tensions in the live studio audience says, give small studios more opportunities. I'd love to see, AA or indie level Star Wars games.
Sure.
We all would. Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Or Disney
probably.
games or Marvel games or, any of these games.
I would love it very much.
Sure.
Unlikely on the license, but
it'd be cool.
Would be freaking neat. Maybe down to a AA. Could be.
I mean, they do mobile stuff all the time.
Could be AA. I'm open to that.
They tend to throw that money at mobile, but a AA would be nice.
Well, hey. Speaking of throwing money at things.
Let's throw money at things.
Let's take a quick word from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. I told you we got back-to-back food sponsorships in my fridge. Thanks, Stream Elements, for that. Very, very cool. HelloFresh, you know it. You've heard us talk about it. You love it. HelloFresh is a meal box delivery service. This one is about cooking for yourself, okay? You're getting easy recipes. You can be cooking for yourself in 20 minutes or less. Easy, low prep, portioned ingredients, so you're not wasting a bunch of stuff too. I know I'm somebody, because I live alone, I have a hard time with grocery shopping a lot of the time because I won't use all of the ingredients and then I feel wasteful and bad. Yeah. Sometimes it ends up actually costing me more to cook for myself just because of the bulk that I have to buy ingredients in and how much of it goes to waste. It doesn't end up actually saving me a lot of money most of the time. So instead, HelloFresh can, because you can choose how many people that you are cooking for and get the appropriate amount of ingredients for it. They have all kinds of options of the kinds of meals that you can get. Saige-friendly options are something I'm always going to reference. I like to choose their family-friendly. I like to choose the ones that are clearly targeted for people with children because I eat like a child, and it means that the foods are pretty plain and simple. And because I'm making it myself, I get to customize a little bit and keep it plain and simple for me. If you would like to get some food, some meals for yourself, you can check out HelloFresh. You can use the link that is popping up in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube later, you can click that one in the description and you can use our code. Let me tell you what you get. You get some kind of cool discount. You go back to the wide. Don't just look at me while I look for this. While I find out exactly what this is. It's probably been popping up in the chat.
I like Rachel Tension saying, everybody got a whole bunch of celery in their fridge they're not using.
Everybody does.
everybody got a giant onion. You got one giant onion.
One whole onion. One bag of potatoes. When I try to get the little potatoes, I'm like, I only want like 4 of these potatoes. I want to be real with you. I can't eat that many potatoes. I just can't.
I'm simply a little gnome.
I'm only a little gnome. What would you have me do?
What would you have me do?
I don't know what they expect of me when I am but a little gnome here. So you're going to get, with our code, 10 free meals plus breakfast for life. That's pretty good. This is for first-time customers, and it is only in the U.S. I'm sorry to our international BBs. I believe they do have it in certain other places, but I think our code will not work. I think our code is exclusive to the US.
If you order it to me, I'll turn around, I'll put it in the mail to you.
Yeah.
Now, it may take 4 to 6 weeks to get there.
It says the one breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. So there are discounts for other regions, but I don't know what they are. So you can still have discount in Canada, but it would be different. It is specific to you. I don't know. Something for Canadians. And best of luck to you. Seriously, thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring. When we get little sponsorships like this, it allows us to keep doing this and also feed ourselves in more ways than one. So this is part 1, and you know the deal. We'll come back and we'll show off some of the stuff that's in the box, some of these lovely little pre-portioned ingredients I'm gonna get when that box comes in. It's gonna be great. I am gonna place an order. I'm not going to fully place an order on stream because, as always, we are trying not to dox ourselves on the internet.
Yeah. But we can tell you that as you're going through here, they have tons of different options for vegetarian, pescatarian, different diets, different things that you need. They got a lot of options.
Here, take a look at my screen, Alex. I'll show you some options, what they've got right now. You're going to be a freaking chef, baby. Okay, look at that. Chicken sausage spaghetti bolognese if you want a little breakfast spaghetti like Anthony and I like to have. We love a little breakfast spaghetti. Ooh, we're bringing top-rated recipes back to the menu every week. Okay. Hot and spicy apricot pork chops. Get wild with it. Onion crunch chicken. Buffalo cauliflower tacos. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Look at all of these. I've never made anything in my life on my own that looks that good, only when I am pulling it from a HelloFresh box. That steak looks fantastic. Truly, even in scrolling through these, just seeing things that I know with all of my food restrictions, I can still eat is really nice. It's really good. It's good. It feels good to cook for yourself. It's a good act of self-care. It's a way to be nice to yourself, and you should be nice to yourself because you deserve it. I think that's it.
Yep.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for hanging out for this conversation. Thank you for everybody who also shared their experiences in the chat. I was also kind of navigating of like, we don't want to read out stuff and use any of your trauma for content. So just know that we're hearing it, we're reading it, and we really appreciate you sharing it with the community and sharing your like actual perspectives on it. I think that's really neat. We have a lot of people in the community that have great perspectives on it. So I'm very proud and I love our BBs very, very much. And I think you're all very neat.
Yeah, BBs.
Very cool of you. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for spending your morning with us. We appreciate it so very much. We hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week in between the times that we see you. We're going to go through and we're going to thank everybody that supported us here directly on Twitch. But I don't know, where else can they support you, Anthony?
You can find me everywhere online at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, is mine. Give it back to me. And a new episode of We Have Concerns is going up today about Arctic ice and how we've figured out a way to create Arctic ice out of just water, if you can believe it.
I can believe it.
I can believe it. Because apparently science had a hard time thinking
They had a hard time figuring out that ice could just come from water?
Yeah.
That's wild. Ruel, thank you for that raid. Welcome in, friends. I'm sorry that you're coming in as we are wrapping up the show. But those who are just coming in, welcome. We're glad that you're here. Can we have a shout out for Ruel, please? All right. Hi. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. And you can find me here on both of our channels on YouTube, which is youtube.com/pixel_popculture, and Pixel Circus. We did a really fun stream. If you haven't watched it on Saturday night, it was a completely live improvised horror RPG. If you're into that sort of thing, it was really neat. I prepped it live with chat. I let you guys write it with me. And then we played it with our friends and it was neat. So you should watch that. All right, Alex.
Hello, I am Alex. You can find me on Twitter at Alder_Mancy and on Instagram at Alex Teplitz. And I also helped produce TD, that video, that stream, and I loved it so much. It was really awesome. So you should go check it out.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you so much. Love and support and shout outs for the mods holding it down. Everybody, you're the freaking best. We appreciate you. Thanks again to HelloFresh. Do use our link that is popping up. Get yourself 10 free meals and breakfasts and stuff.
Reminder, no show on Friday, but we will be back on Monday.
Bye.